Girl, you've got questions. Questions about your body and how to feel good in it, about your hormones and how to keep them in check. Questions about your sex life and your whole health. Can you imagine having a best girlfriend who was also a triple board certified OBGYN? A girlfriend doctor you could call and ask or tell her anything. Someone who could show you how to live any stage of life, before, during, or after menopause, in a big, bold, and beautiful way. Well, friends, I'm your girlfriend doctor. I believe you are meant to flourish and shine, to embrace life and awaken to all its possibilities. Let's get there together. Welcome to our show. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Girlfriend Doctor Show. I am your host, Dr. Anna, and I am thrilled to be here with you today for a special Ask Dr. Anna Anything. You guys know that I always say there's no such thing as TMI, and there really isn't. So I'm here to answer some of your questions today, and I know you guys have emailed some in, and I've also had some members of our Girlfriend Doctor Club that are showing up today to ask their questions real time, because it really is impactful when we have this conversation and how important it is. So today we're going to really address these questions around the perimenopause, this time period around perimenopause, when our hormones start to feel off balance, when they start to shift, when we start to feel like, what the hell is happening? And sometimes we go to our doctor and they say, oh, too young for menopause, but this perimenopause, let's really talk about this. You know, the old expression, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Well, this is really true in perimenopause. So we're going to tackle some areas such as hormone imbalance, you know, these PMS symptoms, endometriosis, hot flashes, and how we can really get a handle on it, and how things we can do naturally that really make a difference. Here we are in, this early 2021, and we've started off the year really fabulous, really strong, setting our visions and setting our goals. I want to remind you that at the first of the year, we did our future boarding with Sarah Centrala. And I want you to visit that because we hit those 5 areas. Like, how about our careers, our most important relationships, and of course, mind, body, and spirit. And how are we addressing our passion and our purpose, what brings us passion and joy in our life. And then the 5th, financial wellness and financial success. How are we framing that in our life? So those 5 areas of goals. And mind, body, we're going to focus on mind, body today, how we nourish our body, and how these areas, making small changes, making small adjustments can really help us. And as women especially, trusting our intuition. So I hope you caught that amazing episode with Sonia and Sonia Choquette, the Sonia Choquette team. And one of my favorites, so important. I've got so much to share with you, but let's get started with our first question from a dear friend of mine and a member of our community, and someone I've known for a few years, also an amazing leader in the health space. So I want to introduce you to Stephanie Davis. Hey, Stephanie.
Hey there, how are you?
I am good. Thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure. I'm excited to be here.
Well, I would love you just to share a little bit about your story, and then what your question is and how I can help you today.
All right. Well, my story is very kind of long and circuitous, so we'll do the condensed version. When I found out about Dr. Anna's products, I was having fertility issues. And I started using the Julva, and I started using Mighty Maca, and that really, really helped. I had my son and tried for a second baby, and I had 2 miscarriages because my hormones were super low and very imbalanced. And so I started using the Mighty Maca and the Julva, and I literally got pregnant within, I want to say it was maybe like a month and a half. So it was pretty amazing, and that was awesome. And then I had the baby. She's 3 years old. And then you nurse the baby, your hormones become very depleted and then imbalanced. And it was interesting because I am currently 45 and I'll be 46 in April. And when I stopped nursing her. Like, it was interesting because it was easy for me to lose weight while I was nursing. And then as soon as I stopped nursing her, I hit a very stressful period. There was a lot of things that kind of collided in my life at once. And I feel like that was the catalyst to just kind of set off this very ugly downstream hormonal effect. And what happened was, from that moment on, I started to slowly gain weight. And, here I am about 2 years later, and I've put on, 25 pounds. My hormones were always low. My estrogen was low and my progesterone was low. And now all of a sudden I have higher estrogen, and my estrogen to progesterone ratio is not good. So I'm feeling the effects of that. And then to compound kind of the perimenopause, where my cycles were shortening from, 28 days to 25 and then 21. I'm really kind of on the path of rebalancing all of that right now. And I was reaching out to Anna because I wanted to do the Keto Green 16 and wanted to find out if I could swap out one of the shakes for a meal in the 16-day program. So that was my main question.
Yeah, and it's so eloquent because of your medical background. You've just explained your history really, really beautifully. And I think one of the big areas is that, this hormone imbalance, like, we can get imbalance for a while, and things can trigger us and set us down this path. And then you talk about being more estrogen dominant now, and how confusing that is when you've always had really low estrogen, and what could be part of that. And definitely with Keto Green 16, you can absolutely substitute a shake for any meal. And I typically do just 2 minutes, just 2 meals a day. So I typically do just 2 meals a day just to make that easy for myself. And often one of them is a shake. And I do really well that way. My body's getting a lot of protein, really absorbable, making sure I've got the healthy fats in there to keep my blood sugar real stable. And I think that will make a really big difference. But I wanted to chat with you because this trigger, right? This trigger, the stress trigger, and not to mention the last year of certainly high levels of stress and uncertainty, and especially as moms, how we're taking care of our children, how are we protecting our family, and what does this mean for our future, let alone our children's future. So that is that stress, that's that cortisol, that is like putting your foot on the accelerator, right? And so when we do that, we're shooting up cortisol. And when our body's in this, okay, I've got to supply this fight or flight hormone, I've got to supply cortisol, we are really depleting progesterone, because cortisol is made from progesterone. So here we went from this relatively balanced state of progesterone and estrogen to now we have depleting progesterone as a primary source to shunt to make cortisol. And when we do this progesterone depletes. And let me just ask you, so that irregular cycle, progesterone insufficiency, right? That luteal, we're seeing this luteal phase defect, not uncommon, and exacerbated, not uncommon as we age, but exacerbated when we're in the stress state. So I would ask you too, like with that, how about memory issues or brain fog or feeling tired and exhausted?
So I will tell you, I feel like I'm lucky. I think because I when I see my patients, we look at a lot of genetics, and my genetics are favorable to having really good brain function. So thank God, because I rely on my brain for my job, right? But I will say where I have felt it is the fatigue. I don't feel it every day, but some days it's significant. It has really impacted my sleep. My sleep is one area where that is probably the most dramatic place where I'm seeing the hormonal effects. And then, like I said before, kind of the weight gain. So it's kind of the fatigue and sleep have been, pretty bad for me.
Yep. And when do you wake up in the middle of the night?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So what we see happening is after your cortisol's been high for so long, our nervous system says, girl, you are frying us out. I'm putting the brakes on you, shutting down cortisol. And so cortisol gets shut down. And so now you're in this low cortisol. I mean, cortisol wakes us up in the morning. It gives us that spurts of energy, that adrenaline, we can feel that adrenaline rush, right? And then when cortisol is suppressed, our hormone oxytocin is also suppressed. And we get into this low energy state, this feeling of exhaustion, this feeling of disconnection. Like, I love my kid, I just don't feel love for him. I love my husband, I just don't feel love. I love my work, I just don't feel passionate about it. That is physiological, and it will get better as we reset. So a couple things in resetting this is really good. And in my book, The Hormone Fix, Chapter 8 in The Hormone Fix, essential for the stress chapter. And I just want to recommend that to everyone who's listening, because we all need to read that chapter right now. We need to read that whole book and really understand what's happening with this cortisol, oxytocin connection, disconnection. And so get into that. But what's happening, so your sleep is being disturbed because all of a sudden you're resting, you're asleep, and your adrenals are like catching up. Maybe this is what's happening. And it's like, oh, okay, I'm finally able to make the cortisol I needed all day, right? And boom, wide awake at 3, 4 a.m. And so working on suppressing that cortisol is going to make a big difference. And there are a few ways that we can do it. So the progesterone in the evening, so day 14 to day 28 or even earlier, depending on your symptoms, and maybe having your physician, you can use like topical progesterone cream like our Pure Balance PPR, or use a prescribed 200 milligram progesterone, probably orally, because oral bioidentical progesterone, is converted to precursors for GABA, which help us get that natural night's sleep, unless we're pushing the pedal on cortisol so much that it goes directly to cortisol. Then you need to do it earlier in the day. So if it's keeping you up, if it seems like it's revving you up. And then the other thing are adaptogens, like the Mighty Maca Plus. I'd probably take 2 scoops around 3 to 4 p.m. And then work on your evening meditation for sleep. Like, see yourself getting really deep, restful sleep, and journal in the evening. And I've been doing this lovely smile meditation. I'll have to post that in the Facebook group, but just like this meditation where your whole body smiles, like you're smiling from your face, but you're smiling from your heart, from your stomach, from your pelvis, from your liver, from your kidney. I mean, just your brain is smiling, like everything is radiating joy in you. And as you use that to just kind of embrace that energy of oxytocin, that'll help also with cortisol. So those are a few things. And Keto Green 16, I'm going to pull it up here. Mm-hmm. Girl, let me know how you do on it. I know you'll love it, because you're already doing 90%. So just those little few tweaks will help. And then the adrenal adaptogens like Mighty Maca, but the other things for the adrenal, high dose vitamin C, 2,000 to 4,000 units a day, a bioavailable B complex, right? A really good quality B complex. And your genetics, if you need some methylation, anyone with MTHFR, you need a methylated, B vitamins. You got that?
Yep, I am homozygous for both of them. So, I've got a lot of methylation challenges.
All right. So this sounds like your next right steps. You got this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thanks for being on. Give your baby a hug from me.
Thank you. I will.
We will be right back, everyone. The Girlfriend Doctor Club is here. We've been building our community for years on Facebook and Instagram through the Girl Talk questions that you send in that I answer on my website, and in the newsletters and messages that I send out to you every week over email, talking about what matters most to all women everywhere. Now we're taking this to the next level. And yes, creating the Girlfriend Doctor Club. I am super excited about this. It is the perfect way to jump into 2021, linking arms with each other for inspiration, support, encouragement, and so much fun. So join the Girlfriend Doctor Club for just $1 in January. And believe me, you don't want to miss our inaugural month. We are dedicating January to making all our health and wellness dreams come true. Here's a little bit of what we're planning. We're going to start with my signature Keto Green Challenge to get you back on track with your fitness and health goals. We all need this after 2020, right? We're going to alkalinize you, girlfriend, and we're going to eat the best, healthiest, and delicious foods you can imagine while boosting your immunity and helping you lose weight. We can do it together. We'll also have weekly all-star guest appearances from my best girlfriends who are world-renowned fitness experts and health gurus. We'll also have weekly online meetings in the Girlfriend Doctor Clubhouse to talk about the questions we all want answers to and to really empower each other to elevate our lives. We'll have menus, motivation, and so much more. So join for $1 in January and then get the rest of the year at over 50% off the regular membership prices. This means you'll have access to the exclusive club for under $50 a month. This club is my way of giving back to you, girlfriend, because you have given me so much love and support over the years. I wanted to create a place where we can say what we want and then go after it together. There's so much healing in community. All year long, you'll get special savings on my products and programs. I'll be designing fitness, health, and motivational challenges for you. And there are a few surprises I'm cooking up too. Please join us. I can't wait to see you in the club. This one click will change your life. Welcome back, everyone. We've got some more great questions on the Girlfriend Doctor Show, and I want to introduce you to Beata, who is in Florida, calling in from Florida, and she's here with us live, and I'm excited for her to share a little bit about her story with you. And I'll just tell you, I've known her. She was a patient in my practice way back when I delivered her firstborn, who is now 17, so that tells you something. And Beata, how are you today?
Fantastic.
Thanks for writing in and asking your question. I really appreciate it. And then for showing up to ask it. I really appreciate this.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, I know a lot of people have the same question as you, and you've had an interesting medical journey and initially really struggled with fertility as part of your journey and endometriosis, and that was really hard. But you had then Isabella and 2 more beautiful children.
4 kids, yes. I had Ayla at 38. She's now 8 years old, and then Dalton, who's my 6-year-old. So I have a 17-year-old, a 6-year-old, and an 8-year-old.
Oh, God bless you, girl. God bless you. So that is awesome. Well, go ahead and tell us what your question is today.
Well, my question is, I have recently noticed that I might be going through a change. My periods are not as regular as they used to be. And I noticed that around my period, I experience some moodiness, and I don't handle my feelings as well as I would like. So I'm getting in more arguments with my husband. It's kind of, the pattern has become evident that it's happening around the first day to the second day of my cycle.
So how are you feeling that week before? These are great questions. So let me make sure I understand. So you're early 40s right now. You've noticed some changes to your menstruation and some changes to the way you feel. And so the mood, irritability, and what else?
It's just basically mood and irritability and not being able to handle my feelings. I feel like there's a wave of feelings that comes on, and instead of really thinking things through how I've learned to do, I kind of am more reactive than I would like.
Oh, girl, do you sometimes think there's a monster within you and it's like, boom, where'd it come from?
Every single damn day of my life, Anna. And I'm going to be 45 next month, so.
Okay, well, I have no idea what you're talking about. I've never had that experience. Totally understand what you're talking about. I'm like, oh my God, where did that come from? Like, how did I react? Not just react, like overreact to this situation. Yeah. And where is this, this monster in me coming from? Does that sound familiar?
Sounds familiar, and it's very unexpected because I've spent about 10 years studying my mind and trying to use meditation and really trying to understand myself better and calm myself down and not be responsive and be in control of what I do. So this is very unpleasant and unwanted right now.
Well, let me just tell you, first of all, we can just take a deep breath, like really just right? It can feel so overwhelming. And physiology drives our behavior. So when our physiology is imbalanced, our behavior's imbalanced too. And that can feel like this volatile, volcanic mesh that we're living in. It's like, when's the next eruption gonna occur? And it can take us by surprise. So I would ask too, is it worse? Like it's definitely worse. You said the first couple days of your period. Is it worse that week before your period starts, like in that PMS, or is it pretty consistent?
It's pretty consistent.
It's pretty consistent.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that it's worse the week before. I haven't noticed that.
Now, how are you doing with your hormones? Are you taking any hormones?
I am not taking any hormones right now. I'm very religious about vitamins. I take vitamins daily. I did have a full workup about 3 years ago where I was told that one of my ovaries back then was at a 60% function. And a hysterectomy was 40%. My husband showing me in the background. Yeah, one was 60, one was 40. Hysterectomy was suggested. I still wasn't ready for it. I was going to lose some weight, which I did, which I gained back during the years of COVID, the last year. But basically, so already I knew that there was some kind of a hormonal imbalance going on back then. Plus, I was prescribed an estrogen patch, which I didn't find helpful. Then subsequently. Mm-hmm.
And I would agree. I would say you're already kind of on the estrogen dominant side. And so an estrogen patch would not likely be helpful. And this is where I would say, okay, all right, we're going to get Keto Green, right? And I don't know if you've done this, but this is your reading assignments for this, this month. Is the Hormone Fix and Keto Green 16, because I want you to really follow this plan. Nothing works better to balance our hormones. And what I want you to do is to get in the state, first in alkalinity, and I talk about that a lot, like make sure, we're balancing our stress level. It's not just, and you're already working on that, meditation to bring down cortisol, getting outside to enjoy nature, having great sex with your husband to increase oxytocin, right? It is a great practice. I saw that eye movement.
He's sitting right there giving you thumbs up. So
he's giving some thumbs up to that.
We follow the Nourish program, which we try to do like a whole mind, body, spirit into mental health. So we already go outside and I garden and we meditate, and we've been pretty intentional with things for a while.
Which is perfect. And now working on getting into the ketosis state to really give you a higher level of energy and grounding as well. So that combination. So the intermittent fasting, no more snacking, and that's going to really shift. Like I want you 16 hours between dinner and breakfast. I want you to work up with that, and you can do it, and it's really essential, especially now because you're experiencing these perimenopausal symptoms. If we remove your ovaries, they're going to be 10 times worse, and we need to replace. So let's address the underlying issue. So, and this is also where I would put you on adrenal adaptogens and detoxifiers, the Mighty Maca Plus. And you were an early adapter of Mighty Maca Plus. I'm going to remind you about this formula. Over 30 superfoods. Take 1 to 3 scoops a day, maybe 4 scoops a day during this time. And let's just see how you do with it, because that will help with adrenal support. We all need additional adrenal support now in this time of stress. And then looking at some foods that can really support you. So organ meats, again, a good way to get natural adaptogens, natural glandular support through organ meats. And you are from Poland. We didn't say that at the beginning, but I know that. And you know organ meats too, right? So like liver and heart. Yes. And so that also can support your body too. And you make them delicious. I know it. And so this intermittent fasting, no more snacking, get Keto Green, get the adrenal adaptogens on board. And then this is where consider having a discussion with your doctor about getting some progesterone. You need the progesterone, not the estrogen. You know that, right?
I know that. We were talking with my husband about it yesterday. And I said, I think I have too much estrogen and I think I need to balance that. Because he said, you should go back on the estrogen patch. And I said, no, I don't think that would be helpful.
Right. I agree. I agree that progesterone would be your next right step. And even just with the Mighty Maca Plus combination and even maca alone, we can see an improvement in progesterone and and DHEA, at least we have in looking at clinical studies with my Mighty Maca Plus formula. So the combination we know really helps. And so that's a great thing to do if people don't have access to my Mighty Maca Plus, depending on where you live in the world, but mostly we ship everywhere, but you can start with some straight maca. And that can really help. So those three things, you're going to do intermittent fasting and get Keto Green 16, work on some adaptogenic support with like Mighty Maca Plus, and fourth, the progesterone. Keep working with that mind body, and that will make a difference. If we need to add additional neurotransmitter support for that calm, could add a supplement of like GABA, a GABA supplement in the evening or even twice a day to help with this calm. But let's get rid of the inflammation from any sugar, because that's going to create this volatility. And if there's candida, right, yeast, and that often creates this highs and lows in our personality as well. The hungry, trillions of bacteria and fungi within us, right, are demanding attention. Right. So we want to eliminate that. And by getting Keto Green, eliminating sugar, that's gonna help you. So that sound like you got these next steps?
I think I do. And I've already been looking to gut health just the past week and thinking that there might be something to do with it that I need to adjust.
Yes. And in Keto Green 16, at the last 3 days, we, recommend a 3-day fasting. Like with bone broth, there's an option for pushing into that 3-day fasting. So not the first time you go through it, but the second time, let's work on some bone broth and just, some bone broth fasting for 72 hours. And that can really help. And then looking from there, maybe we need to do some stool analysis to look for, fungi, bacteria, what else could be going on, because more serotonin is produced in the gut, in our GI tract, than in our brain. So when we're having these issues, we do exactly right, have to address the gut. So, all right, my darling, give Isabella a big hug, and it's good to see you again. It's been a long time.
It's good to see you too. You look great. So proud of you.
Thank you. All right, Beata. Mwah. Have a great day. Thanks for being here. All right, everyone. This is amazing. These questions and these beautiful women are sharing their stories to help you too. And I so honor that. And I honor them, and I honor each of you that are writing in to ask me questions. We've had a few more questions that have come in, and I want to answer these too. And you guys know where to ask these questions. Just go to dranna.com, go to my show page, and you will see an area on the show page to ask questions. So let's address this question that was written in from Shirley, who is asking about hormones after hysterectomy. She says, "Hi, Dr. A. Will the body continue to make hormones after the uterus and ovaries are removed, even though the organs that are supposed to react to the hormones, example, in producing an egg, are no longer there?" And this is a common question. Let me just first clarify. There are different types of hysterectomy. There's just a straight hysterectomy where we remove the uterus and typically remove the cervix too, or it's called a supracervical hysterectomy where we remove the uterus but leave the cervix. And then if we remove the ovaries, the long word is that, oophorectomy. So we can remove the uterus, a hysterectomy, and remove the ovaries, oophorectomy, either one or both of them. And when we remove the ovaries are part of the communication system between all our hormones. We say the hypothalamus, the pituitary, even the thyroid, adrenal gland, and the gonadal axis. So we call that the HPA-G axis. And these organs, testes in men and ovaries in women, are an important part of this communication. So when our ovaries are removed, the adrenal glands will make up for the lost hormones to a degree. And that's something that we need to really address. We know that if we've removed our ovaries, if we have our ovaries removed, research shows that we have an increased risk of heart disease, cardiovascular disease as we get older, if compared to women who have their ovaries remained intact. So there are many reasons for that, but we want to really address that, because if we have our ovaries removed and we know the research shows that we have increased risk of coronary vascular disease and all-cause morbidity and mortality than if we had the ovaries. Why is that? And that's a good question. We know that our ovaries, even in our 60s, 70s, 80s, are part of this continued communication system. And they're still emitting, they're still producing some hormone. And again, what this communication balance is telling us is part of this mystery of life that we're still teasing out as we start to understand more these amazing energetic molecules, our hormones, and how they all interact together. So what we know helps decrease that risk of increased morbidity and mortality, increased heart disease and other all disease illnesses, as well as death, is to replace our hormones. And typically when you have your ovaries removed, we're only replacing estrogen, but that's not satisfactory. We need to replace bioidentical progesterone as well, because the uterus isn't the only organ in our body that responds to progesterone. And in women, our ovaries are the primary producer of progesterone, and as part of our natural reproductive cycle, and even to a degree in postmenopause, our adrenals will take over. But hey, add in some stress and boom, there goes that progesterone again. Look, I don't know about you, but I want to keep my hormones as balanced as possible. And when all possible, keep all my organs that God gave me, right? Keep everything that God gave me. But when we have to have them removed, then let's replace the hormones the ovaries were producing. Big ones like definitely estrogen, but progesterone, DHEA, supporting our body's natural production, and then supporting us through supplements and support as our lifestyle as needed. You guys know in the Hormone Fix, I go through many reasons why our hormones are imbalanced. So if we think we've had a hysterectomy, we still have to address the underlying cause that caused the imbalance to begin with. We remove the uterus, but that's the end result of the hormonal issues that were going on, what caused the problem to require the hysterectomy to begin with. Let's address those underlying issues, whether we have our uterus or not. And certainly if we don't, we're replacing and supporting our body's natural hormones as much as possible. So great question, Shirley. Thank you for asking that question. And let's see, we've got another question in here from Dawn Ferguson. She is doing Keto Green 16 with us, right in our Girlfriend Doctor Club. And this is what she said. Dawn said, I'm on day 5 of 16 of Keto Green 16. My scale has gone down every single day, but today it went up a pound. I just don't understand. The only thing I can think of is I ate a quarter cup of low sugar pasta sauce last night that I should not have eaten, and it also gave me raging heartburn. Tomatoes always do, but not sure how it could impact the scale like that. Nothing else was off plan yesterday, and I had my Mighty Maca apple cider vinegar lemon elixir, my shake, etc. I did exercise a lot yesterday. Maybe my muscles are retaining water from soreness. Just not a great way to start my weekend with the scale going up. Girl, I can tell you, I know that the scale should not affect our mood, but I hear you here. Anyone out there, has the scale ever affected your mood? You like, oh my gosh, I'm not getting on it. It is not my friend. So we got to make it our friend. Information is power. What gets measured gets managed. So how exciting for Dawn to get this information about what's going on. She can continue the detective work. And I would say, okay, well, are you checking your urine pH and ketones? Are you more acidic? Did you get bumped out of ketosis? What else is going on? Because here, tomatoes are more of one of the foods that can cause some sensitivity. There are some people that have an allergy to certain foods, and when they eat them, they will retain water, gain weight. Me, it can be a little sprinkle of Parmesan on something in my pesto sauce, and lo and behold, 3 pounds heavier the next day. It makes me wonder, okay, what was in what I ate yesterday? There was something that was sabotaging me. right? So what's causing that rebound weight gain? This is detective work. It could definitely be the tomatoes, the tomato sauce. It could be a food sensitivity for you. That could be part of it. But 1 pound, this little bit of fluctuation, that's just good information. Stay the course, follow the plan, and keep really positive. Don't get stressed because cortisol is going to increase our glucose, which is going to increase fat storage. We want to move away from that and just be grateful. I'm so glad I got on the scale and it showed me that, something I did or ate yesterday was not good for me. Let me figure, let me journal, let me see what that is. So, and that's what I want to encourage you. What gets measured gets managed. This is all part of getting good information. And let me tell you, keep these questions coming in. We all have detective work. I say put our Nancy Drew hats on and let's get to it. This is all about being positive, reassuring ourselves. And as we close today, because I've had this amazing opportunity to touch base with some amazing women and longtime friends and women who are struggling just like you. I love it when you send me in questions at the Girlfriend Doctor Show. I really do. And I want to encourage you because I can feel the stress, and we have to recognize that no matter what, we control what our emotions can be. Now, let me tell you, our physiology drives behavior, so we're imbalanced, we're inflamed, we have a gut dysbiosis, we're struggling with yeast or SIBO. That's going to create some emotions, but ultimately we are here to get to the bottom of it. You are here and you know that you have power over your body, and our body has tremendous healing capability, and so you're getting information to help you along your journey. So we can be grateful for this and grateful for the symptoms that our body is showing us, whether we're in perimenopause, in menopause, or well beyond menopause, or even just starting our menstrual cycles. This is information that can help us stay balanced for our entire life, no matter how old we are. So a big note that a reminder, this is something I want you to write down. Say, I am the only one who can upset myself. And, we may say, oh no, my boyfriend, he can really piss me off, or, oh my gosh, that person is a trigger, right? And then you can say, no, I'm the only one who can upset myself. I have the choice of how I react to this situation. So maybe you want to put that saying somewhere, especially when we are in this healing and detoxifying state. Boy, we can bring up some emotions, but recognize that. And when those come up, be grateful. Be grateful for your body telling you that there's something that we need. There's something in here that needs to be addressed. There's a message that our body is trying to give us. And there's always one next right step we can take today. So I want to thank you guys for being here on the Girlfriend Doctor Show. I want you to make sure that you are subscribed to my YouTube channel, and that way as soon as we release one of our shows, and also my email. My email and my Girlfriend Doctor Club are the places I can give you uncensored information. So I really encourage you to be sure that you are part of my community. And again, thank you, and I will see you next time.